I'm Frankie. Today, I would like to share with you my 4 years experience facilitating the practice of training management and the practice of knowledge management, learning, coaching and consulting in the Republic of Mauritius. Now, the organization that made all my arrangements in the Republic of Mauritius was IVTB. And IVTB stands for the Industrial and Vocational Training Board of the Republic of Mauritius. IVTB indeed is a great organization, and I truly appreciate all the efforts they put in to make my assignments highly successful in the country. Of course, to begin with, what I will do is I will offer you a brief background of IVTB. Now, this document that I have in my hand at this point of time is the official document that was given to me upon my arrival in IVTB in May 1998. And this document highlights the 4 key points about IVTB, which I would like to share with you at this point. And it goes like this. Point number 1. The IVTB is a parastatal organization operating under the supervision of the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development in Mauritius. It was set up in 1988 and is responsible for the overall promotion, regulation, and monitoring of vocational and technical training in the country. The organization has grown over the past 9 years and has today achieved an international reputation. Point 2 of this document. In its role as regulator of training, the IVTB is required to register the private training institutions operating in the country, monitor their training programs, register the trainers, and check on their operation so as to ensure quality standards. At present, 102 private institutions with regard to training and around 1,000 trainers are registered with IVTB. Point number 3, the organization has assumed an international dimension. It has established working links with various international bodies in different countries. It is also acting as a local antenna for the ILO Turin Center, Italy, and runs courses for participants from the African countries on behalf of the ILO centers. And finally, point number 4, it says here, the IVTB presently has a staff of around 500 and is managed by a council comprising representatives of both private and public sectors. The IVTB maintains strong links with industry in Mauritius. Now, these are the 4 points highlighted in this official document that is titled A Brief on IVTB. Now, what I'll do next is I would like to highlight the assignments that I've carried out in Mauritius in collaboration with IVTB. Now, let me refer to the board. Here, in 1996, I conceptualized my first original practice of knowledge management model. And my assignment in IVTB started in May 1998. From May 1998 to September year 2000, I designed, developed, customized, and facilitated 5 major programs for IVTB. The first program was the Certificate of Training Management. It is a 5 days program. Now, this certificate in training management comprises 3 major parts. Part 1 of this certificate program covers the systematic approach to learning and development. It includes training needs analysis, designing, developing of training programs, facilitating or implementing training programs, and finally, evaluation of training. The second part of this 5-day certificate in training management program covers the strategic direction for the training or learning and development function. And it includes, firstly, the training mission, the training policy, training culture, formulating the training plan, and formulating the training calendar. Now, part 3 of this 5-day certificate in training management program covers a very interesting aspect, and it talks about upgrading the training function to be a corporate learning center, to be a training academy or a corporate university. Now, this certificate in training management program was designed, developed, customized and facilitated for learning and development practitioners in the Republic of Mauritius. Now, after I had facilitated 3 major intakes, what I did was I then transferred this program to IVTB so that IVTB can independently run this program. To make this possible, what I did was I designed and developed the second program entitled Certificate in Training Management Certification Program. And this program, what I did was I certified a pool of trainers in IVTB and from the industry to continue to facilitate this program for the benefit of all the trainers in the country. The third program that I designed for IVTB and also facilitated myself was known as the 5-day certificate in training technology. And this program covers both on-the-job and on-the-job training techniques. And the fourth program that I designed, developed, customized and facilitated for IVTB was the 5-day certificate in training needs analysis program. And this program covers the whole spectrum from designing, developing, implementing and interpreting results of performance-driven training needs analysis, and eventually the formulation of the training plan and the preparation of the annual training calendar. And the fifth program that I designed and facilitated for IVTB was a 2-day program on corporate planning and strategic management. Now, essentially, in addition to all these programs that I've customized for IVTB, I also undertook a lot of assignments, consulting and coaching assignments for top companies in the Republic of Mauritius. However, from September year 2000 to March 2002, all my assignments were directly related to initiating and sustaining the practice of knowledge management. Now, there were 2 factors really that contributed to this development. Firstly, at about year 2000, 2001, the government of the Republic of Mauritius were looking at migrating the economy from a production-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. And that provided the context and the background for the design, development, and eventual facilitation of my practice of knowledge management programs, consulting, and coaching assignments. The second major factor got to do with a report in year 2000 that relates to the findings of International Labour Organization. Now, perhaps at this point, I will highlight to you some of the key points of this report because it provided the context, the background for me to develop a lot of initiatives in the areas of practice of knowledge management in that country. Now, in my hand here, this is the report the ILO report. And the title of this report is Knowledge Management in Mauritius, Vocational Training Strategy for the New Millennium. And it says here, based on the report on International Labour Organization mission. And finally, it says, the mission was requested by the Ministry of Training, Skills Development and Productivity, the government of the Republic of Mauritius. I would like to highlight to you some of the key points of this report. I will share with you first the background and the introduction to this report. And it goes like this. The trend nowadays is for society to move towards a knowledge economy in which the application of knowledge replaces capital, raw materials and labor as the main means of production. The essential ingredient of products and services is the inherent knowledge. Many companies view knowledge as their most competitive advantage. The ability to gather information, generate new knowledge, disseminate and apply this knowledge to achieve improvement and innovation is an organization's knowledge productivity. Knowledge productivity will remain the dominant economic factor in a knowledge society, and it stresses the importance of a flexible and competent workforce. Creating powerful learning environment is crucial in this context. The second part of the introduction section highlights this. In many instances, the potential contribution of the production and application of knowledge has become more important than physical labor and the ability to regulate and coordinate. In manufacturing and service organizations, material items, capital and labor are often less significant than the combination of knowledge embodied in the product or service. Finally, it says, knowledge is crucial to continual improvements in existing products and services and for innovation. In this context, knowledge workers become dominant, exerting more influence over organizational performance than any other group associated with the organization. Now finally, the next section talks about suggested option of this report, and it highlights this. The rationale for including knowledge management in the framework for balancing economic demand and human resource supply lies in the belief that the economy is transforming into a knowledge-based economy, and that individuals, teams and organizations need to develop the necessary competencies to be able to participate in a working life that is mainly based on knowledge productivity. Finally, it says here, traditional approaches do not provide the required learning environment for knowledge work. And I want to highlight the last part, a very important part, and it says this. The suggested option for the Ministry of Training, Skills Development and Productivity in Mauritius is therefore to raise awareness of knowledge management in Mauritius, to be instrumental in introducing knowledge working in receptive organization, and to overcome some of the barriers, perhaps by organizing appropriate workshops, organizing seminars which prevent knowledge sharing. So in summary, if you look at the interpretation, the analysis of this report highlights very clearly, provides very clear suggestions for people in Mauritius to be more familiar with regard to what is the practice of knowledge management all about, and how to initiate and sustain POKM journey to ensure that organization secure and maintain competitive advantage. In actual fact, this report is a second real major factor that spurred a lot of my work in the Republic of Mauritius at that point in time. Now, and so based on this report here, you realize therefore that from the time of 2000 yes, to 2002, I actually designed, developed, customized and facilitated 3 major 5-day certificate in knowledge management program for IVTB. And many top leaders, heads of human capital, researchers, academicians participated in these 3 major programs. Of course, in addition, I also have carried out numerous assignments relating to initiating and sustaining the POKM journey in top companies in Mauritius. Perhaps in my other sharing session, I will talk more about my assignments with these organizations. Now, coming back to here, you will realize therefore that in 2001 alone, I was invited to deliver 2 major public talks relating to the practice of knowledge management. Now, this is what I've documented. Now, first, in 4th of May 2001, I delivered the first public talk, and the title of the talk was The Emergence of the Practice of Knowledge Management in the Knowledge-Based Economy. And this talk was organized by the University of Mauritius and IVTB. More than 300 people attended this talk, and they came from the industry, they came from the ministries, and they were academics, they were researchers, and they were top leaders from the various organizations. My second public talk that I delivered was on this 23rd of November 2001. And the title of that talk was Knowledge Management and the Knowledge-Based Economy. And this public talk was organized by the Ministry of Training, Skills Development and Productivity in collaboration with IVTB. Now, over this period of time, I have undertaken a lot of assignments in the areas of the practice of knowledge management. Many corporates have sent participants to a program. I've also customized many programs for the private sector and undertook some major assignments. Here I have listed down some of the main companies, the top companies I worked with during that point of time. We have Floreal Knitwear, Air Mauritius, World Duty Free Mauritius, Mauritius Telecom, State Bank of Mauritius, Island Financial Services, Financial Services Commission, the National Computer Board, Central Electricity Board, Rogers and Company, Karamji, Flag United Estates, Food and Allied Industries, General Construction Company, Casinos of Mauritius, the Residence Hotel, the National Transport Corporation, Mauritius Employers Federation, Mauritius Export Processing Zone, the Institute of Marketing and Management, the Ministry of Fishery, and the Ministry of Health and Quality of Life. This is just a partial listing of companies that have sent people to my programs and companies that I worked with during this period of time. And of course, during this 4-year period, a lot of my work were reported, and lots of interviews were conducted anyway too, and they were reported in many of the IVTB official newsletter, in local French newspapers and English papers, in business magazines, and even reported in the Mauritius College of the Air. So here, over the years, I've collected a range of all these newsletters and documents that have reported my work here. Now, so on this side, what you will see first of all is that I would like to show you, the IVTB official newsletter. This is the one in January, February 1991. The gentleman on this side, if you can see, is a good friend of mine. He's a director of IVTB, and I call him Chuboha, and he's a great guy, great leader, all right? And I have the March and April 1999 issues, official IVTB news here. and I have the May-June 1999, and all these are the newsletter, the reported work that I've done. And I have the November-December 1999 issue, and I have the January-February year 2000 issue here, and the March and April year 2000 issue, and we have the August-September year 2000 issue, and this is the May 2001 issue of the official IVTB news. And I have the July 2001 issue here. And the next one I have is a September 2001 official IVTB newsletter. And then finally, I have the November 2001 issue. All right. So all these reports, all these newsletter reported the work that I've done. And the other one you can see, it's the one that's from the Ministry of Training, Skills and Productivity. And the name of the newsletter given is called Frontiers. And very surprising and also very interesting, you can see therefore the caption says, our mission, it says here, driving strategically our human resource towards a knowledge-based economy. And this is the newsletter from the ministry. Now on this side, you will see that I was talking about the business magazine, reporting on the public talks that I delivered. And this is the magazine that I subscribe to very frequently, in Mauritius, and also reporting lots of work done. And this one is the information pack that I received way back in May 1998 on the work that is done by the IVTB. This is the latest one before I left and completed my assignment, year 2002, the international conference that IVTB actually organized. And of course, on this side, I also have a translated version. The original version is in French, and it's an interview that I provided to the French newspaper talking about the practice of knowledge management in smaller economy. The version was translated from French to English by one of my good friend, Mr. Redjen, who actually was the head of a division of IVTB. Alright, now, so there are lots of this that I have here. Now, finally, perhaps at this point of time, I would like to provide you what we call as an analysis of my experience and of my observation in the Republic of Mauritius. And this is the observation I have working with corporate professionals from leading organizations in the country. Now, firstly, my first observation, most of the corporate professionals that I have the opportunity to work with, they are great learners, very open mind to learn. And this is real great for me because it makes sharing easy. It makes transferring of messages to these professionals pretty easy. And of course, they do ask a lot of questions, but most important, they're very receptive. When it comes to listening to feedback given to them, it comes to providing them with the latest practices. Now this is my first observation. Very ready to learn, very open mind to learn. My second observation is this. Besides learning, they are also very passionate when it comes to applying what they learn. And this is really great news for me because it makes the transfer of learning from the workshop to the workplace so much easier. Why? Because Mauritius is a pretty small nation. At the point of time when I was there, the population was about 1.2 million people. And as an island, top of their mind, their main focus is always about acquiring knowledge, importing knowledge, and quickly applying the knowledge to ensure they can secure competitive advantage. And this is my second observation, their willingness to apply. My analysis, my third analysis here is this, collaboration. I see these guys fantastic when it comes to sharing and collaborating. And this really is a plus point, because the practice of sharing, the practice of collaboration enables them to innovate at a very much faster pace, to drive significant improvement. And finally, my fourth observation. Yes, Creole is the language spoken by every one of these corporate professionals. And most of them also speak French. But all the corporate professionals, their command of English were fairly good. They have fairly good command of English. And because of that, it makes my interaction, it makes my interfacing with all these participants and corporate clients very, very easy. In actual fact, overall, I have very positive feelings, experience working with corporate professionals and top companies in Mauritius at a point of time. Now, of course, let me summarize what I want to share today. On my side, these 4 years, I can truly say, these are memorable, fantastic years. And on your side, if you are really planning to have a vacation, I would strongly recommend you to consider Mauritius as your vacation destination. They have beautiful beaches, friendly people, and most of all, I'm sure you will have very memorable experience in the nation. On the other hand, if you're planning to expand to Africa, you must consider setting up an office in the Republic of Mauritius. Why? Because Mauritius indeed is the business gateway to Africa. Alright, so this is something that you have to consider doing, setting up an operation in the country. Now, perhaps in my future sharing sessions, I will talk more about my experiences working with, as I said just now, top companies in that country. So at this point of time, with this is Frankie signing off. Cheers, bye-bye, and see you real soon.